Hey everyone. I hope you didn't take too much hopium yesterday, as the price of Bitcoin had a nice fall in the past 24 hours. We went from a high of almost $40,000 down to below 36 to about 35, $500. So nearly $5,000 drop. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. So I hope you're holding on tight. Hope you haven't, lost your pants or anything. So just remember, you should not, trade your rent money for something like this. Just dollar cost average a little bit every now and then. What I like to do is I like to buy $1 every hour, and I have that through the Strike app, and so I do that. And just to show you what $1 will get you, currently it's over 2,700 sats. And what I just was, perusing through this little graph here, and I thought it was kind of funny that, back in 2019, early 2019, late 2018, when the price of Bitcoin really dipped, you could get over 30,000 sats per dollar, and now you can't even get 3,000 sats per dollar. So I just thought that was pretty funny. And then it's also kind of cool because it shows like a future projection here, and it kind of projects it to be the dollar losing value over time. Generally, this graph, it only goes to January 2018, so it's really not that old, but the general trend of the graph, even if you take it from here, is in the downward direction. So even though I don't know why they have a gap in data right here, I don't know what that's about, but anyway, in terms of price predictions, this is one of the things that you'll see on Twitter a lot, where you have these people with lots and lots of followers that tell you that a breakout is imminent, and like this guy's notorious for being wrong. Look, like they see like one good green candle here, and they think, okay, there's a bullish, bearish divergence flag or some shit going on right here at the end of here. You can kind of see there's a triangular shape, and it's going to go off. Well, it clearly didn't do that. So that's why my advice would just be to dollar cost average just a little bit. Take your time. Greg Foss, one of the things that he says is, chill out and I'll see you in 20 years. So if Bitcoin continues to progress on its trend, as it has 80% plus drawdowns, but overall the trend is in the upward direction. So if it continues like that, then it'll be like a new retirement fund for millennials or anyone that's joining into the space right now. So I hope you have your Bitcoin. Also, speaking of price, this orange line here is the current realized price, which I don't exactly know how that's calculated, but I guess it must be some sort of average. But the current realized price is under $25,000, which MicroStrategy actually in a statement said that if Bitcoin goes down to below 25 or in that range $1,000, then they will be forced to liquidate some of their Bitcoin that they hold in that's been leveraged, I believe, to buy more Bitcoin, that they took out a loan on. But the price tends to go below the actual realized price, or the current realized price. I don't know that it'll get down to this level, simply because of there's a lot of people that would really like to get some cheaper Bitcoin, and any dip they don't last as long as they used to. I don't think we're ever going to see anything like this. Look, the past dip in the early 2020 was very short-lived, only a couple of weeks, if that. So if there's any sort of dip, it's not going to last long. And I don't think, I hate to say that, we won't reach this level, but, clearly I would have been wrong if I had said that in the past. So we'll see how that goes. But one of the reasons why I don't think that the price is going to go down, maybe I should have put this in reverse, but there's a lot of bullish sentiment going on, and especially with how much hash rate is being added to the network by Argo in West Texas, and they're going to start mining here in May, is what they say. They're going to add 5.5 exahashes by the end of this year, and then an additional in the coming years up to 20 exahashes. That is an enormous amount of hashing power for just one facility. We're currently, the hashing power, I believe yesterday, was a top of 270 exahashes per second. And so if they're at 5.5, so if you just do the math, it's 5.5 out of 270. That's 2% of all of the hashing power will be in West Texas. Think about that. That's kind of insane. like 2% of the world's hashing power will be located at one facility in West Texas. And here's a picture of it too. Isn't that cool? And it's out in the middle of nowhere. So, I mean, it's not like they're absorbing energy from other, cities or anything. Like, trust me, there's plenty of space in West Texas. There's nothing out there, except for cattle ranchers and some wind turbines and, excess energy that's, not being used efficiently, where, Bitcoin, I think, pretty useful, case for electricity. I'm not going to read all that, but hold on. I did see 20,000. Well, the mining facility will be running 20,000 Bitmain S19J Pro rigs. That's insane. Oh my God. I honestly didn't really read the article. I just kind of saw at the top that they were going to be opening, and I thought, hey, that was pretty cool. Let's talk about that. But that's a lot of machines to be hooking up. I work in construction, just like thinking about the electrical infrastructure that building facility has to have inside of it and around it. I don't know if these buttresses are on the outside. They must be some sort of serial transformer bus electrical power distributor. I have no idea. I'm not even going to speculate. Anyway, moving on. So one of the other reasons why I think Bitcoin is continuing to remain bullish, and that any sort of price dip will be very short-lived, is because of the Luna Foundation Guard. Is surpassing Tesla as the second largest. It's not actually that. That's not that true. They do own more than Tesla, but they are actually not like the second largest corporate holder. I mean, because I don't know. You'll see in a second. But they just acquired $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. And they own, I believe, 80,000 Bitcoin now or something like that. There we go. Total 80,394 Bitcoin. So MicroStrategy recently bought more Bitcoin, and they're up to 129,000. But this is just one of those reasons why any dip in Bitcoin is not going to be long lived. I almost guarantee it. So if the price today is down, now's a good time to buy, because there's the Luna Foundation is buying right now. They recently secured $1.5 billion. So incredibly bullish news, if you ask me. And so then I was kind of perusing, and I found this website that kind of shows all of the companies and the breakdown of who owns Bitcoin and what, So we have MicroStrategy at 129,000, and then you have Tesla at nearly 43,000. So Luna Foundation Guard will be right in the middle of there. But if you go down, it breaks it out into other categories. Like, this one really caught me off guard. I had to look into how and why the country of Bulgaria has over 1% of the total Bitcoin supply. It's because it was seized back in 2013 through some illegal activity or something like that. So they seized it they took it from somebody. They didn't, they weren't just bullish and started buying a whole bunch of Bitcoin. But if they in fact still hold on to it, they own, over 1% of the entire supply. So I hope they just held the keys and kind of forgot about it. So we'll see. But then also, I guess a corporate entity wasn't really the right term to use, because Block 1 has 140,000. So they technically own more than MicroStrategy. And here you have the Luna Foundation Guard. So this hasn't been updated, obviously, because they own more than 80,000. So who's to say how much all of these other entities actually own? But then, if you go down here, you have Grayscale, which owns over 3% of the total supply, which is also incredible. So, and I believe that's the end of the list. So when they say that Luna now surpassed Tesla as owning the most Bitcoin as a corporate entity or something like that, it's sort of not totally right. That person really didn't think about, whoever wrote that article didn't really think about other entities that hold Bitcoin. It seems like they tried to define it a little bit, but they kind of failed, in my opinion. So, anyway, moving on. And in terms of, people buying lots of Bitcoin that own lots of Bitcoin, like Block One. So, the CEO of Block One is Jack Dorsey, who is the old CEO of Twitter, who has now partnered with Blue Sky, and he is on the board of Blue Sky, and they have which is a decentralized version of Twitter that it's supposed to be, or something like that. And they've just released some sort of package or whatever, authenticated data experiment. I don't know, but it's basically how they're going to moderate the use of their app, this Blue Sky thing. So we'll see. I'll give it a test run and see how it works and feels. But if you have ventured if you've been in the crypto space for a while, then you may have come across other social media platforms that tried to be decentralized, like Steemit and DTube, which I believe they're both still around and active, but I haven't used them in a long time. DTube was supposed to be a replacement for YouTube, like decentralized YouTube. And then Steemit was more like a weird sort of Twitter, Facebook hybrid thing, and you got paid by posting, and if people liked it, then they could pay you on your post, and it was monetized and things like that. It was a cool idea, but I just don't think that they had the right amount of people or developers to really create a good user interface. And I think that someone like Jack Dorsey probably has the technical know-how and ability and willingness to create something like that was user-friendly on a decentralized application or something like that. So we'll see how it goes. But in terms of other rich people in crypto space and social media platforms, Elon Musk has also secured funding from Binance, Sequoia, and Fidelity to buy Twitter. So I assume that deal went down, and now we have some crypto-friendly, corporations, companies also joining Mr. Elon Musk here to help him buy Twitter. So, and then I also read that he's going to be like interim CEO for a little bit or something like that. I guess the old CEO is being replaced. I'm not exactly sure what this whole Twitter thing. If he's going to buy Twitter, let him buy Twitter. And then what's the whole big deal? Just let him be done with it and we'll move on. Like, it's just an app. Like, it's a very popular app that I use every day, but as long as it, remains functional and I'm able to tweet and talk to people, then I don't see why this has been such a big deal, other than a lot of people getting into it. So anyway, lastly, to talk about, so we talked yesterday and a couple days before about Goldman Sachs' first Bitcoin-backed loan, and we found out that Coinbase was the one that took out the loan, and I was questioning why they did that. And in this article, they kind of explain it, and it's sort of, and I don't know if I believe it 100%, but it's recognition as collateral, which deepens the bridge between fiat and crypto economies. So they basically took out this loan to try and bridge the gap between traditional finance and the crypto space. So, and is more like a representation, like a token offering, if you want to say, like, it wasn't, from how this article reads, it does not seem like Coinbase took out the money that they needed the money to expand or anything like that. It just seems like they actually took out the loan as, like a gesture of, willingness to work with traditional finance, which, I guess is significant in its own right, but I don't know that they necessarily needed to do that. They just need to help, explore education to a lot of these institutional investors. So that's all I got for you today. I hope you all enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one.